What occurs when the daughter of the supposedly ideal gospel family in America enters the public eye? Not to sing, not to give thanks, but to destroy the entire legacy. Yes, I did hear you. The quiet guy, Tiffany, who was always in the background, just dropped a bomb that even Hollywood couldn't have planned. What type of sinister secret could be so perverse and corrupt that it would lead a daughter to betray her own father? Is this a plea for assistance, retaliation, or the truth that the man's family hoped you would never hear? Because David Mann isn't the happy family man you believed you knew, according to Tiffany. There is more going on behind the comedic skits, the gospel music, and the never-ending church tours. A narrative so unsettling that it makes other celebrity families' problems seem like school drama. The worst part is still to come. Chats that were leaked. The picture being painted by anonymous insiders and Tiffany's own venomous remarks has the potential to permanently destroy the Mann brand. So fasten your seatbelts, for what we are going to discover is not just rumors. The Mann dynasty is completely destroyed. The internet will never be the same once Tiffany broke her silence. So, let's go back a bit. David and Tama have been selling us picture-perfect postcards for years. You've witnessed them. Top-charting gospel CDs, matching church attire, and comedic skits in which David portrays the silly husband. Tamela sings of the majesty of God. They also behave like the most unbreakable Christian couple in America. They were marketed as the trustworthy family. It is impossible for a couple to have secrets in their closet. Correct? Oh, that's incorrect. Because there is always a shadow beneath a well-executed family portrait. Tiffany Mann, too. Indeed. The daughter who didn't say much. She has finally taken off the mask that everyone assumed she was only living in her mother's shadow. Furthermore, what she is disclosing is not a trivial family quarrel. No. She is delivering potentially explosive truth bombs rather than saying things like, "Oh, my dad was strict," or "Oh, we didn't get along." From the inside out, the Mann brand. Let's be honest. The world typically leans in when celebrities' children speak up. However, whether it's a member of the male dynasty or the daughter of gospel royalty, it's not just gossip anymore. It's a moral earthquake. Since the men were supposedly the epitome of fun, family, and faith, they were more than just performers. Nah, it was all a lie. A pretty little mask hiding a monster. Tiffany is now stating that David Mann was more than simply a bad father. He was concealing a sinister secret so perverse that it completely rewrites the story. According to our sources, who are unnamed, of course, Tiffany began speaking after years of silence. According to what she purportedly wrote in a later leaked private journal, her father's discipline was far harsher than anyone could have ever imagined. We are discussing conduct that transcends all moral and trust boundaries. The worst part is still to come. There were whispers in the past. Yes, this tea isn't brand new. There used to be a soft murmur back then. Tiffany was not allowed to shine by the Mann family. Unlike her siblings, she was not thrust into the spotlight. Those gospel tours did not feature her prominently. Fans conjectured that she was unique. Now that Tiffany has opened her mouth, it appears that those murmurs were smoke that was about to burst into flames. Let's not pretend, though, that David Mann didn't put in extra effort to hide his activities. Do you recall those glitzy family interviews? The ones that made Tama laugh? Tiffany remained awkwardly silent in the background as David played the clown. Return now and watch them. It feels more like a PR hostage situation than it does like pure family enjoyment. The smiles appear more phony. Both Tiffany's stillness and the laughs seem forced. It suddenly reads as if it were a scream just waiting to be let out. And it has yet escaped. Tiffany reportedly told close pals that she was done preserving the family image when they occurred to speak to anonymous outlets like ours. According to one report, Tiffany stands to gain nothing. For years, she has been marginalized, disregarded, and kept quiet. Even if the entire home burns down, she doesn't care. She merely wants the truth about her father to be known. Even the ardent supporters of the Mann family are holding their pearls because of the unsettling elements of that truth. Imagine growing up in a household where your father is a global celebrity, yet behind closed doors, you witness the reverse of holiness. Tiffany's purportedly leaked statements claim that David's discipline was actually control. His guidance was cloaked in fear, and his affection was manipulation. The men were regarded as role models by the church and gospel communities for many years. The joker was David. The power couple of faith-based entertainment was Tama, who was the angelic voice. However, Tiffany's shocking revelation completely upends that innocent tale. The so-called man of God is now beginning to resemble a man of falsehoods. We'll talk about Tama in a moment, but let's just say that her response makes the situation much more chaotic. Why is Tiffany talking now then? Why finally speak after all these years? According to insiders, she has been pushed to the brink. According to some, she happened onto recordings of past discussions that David never imagined would be heard. Others claim that her father's haughtiness, which included showing off his ideal family image while she bore the burden of his secrets, was the catalyst. The dam is broken either way, and you can't stop the truth from coming out once it does. And trust me, this is being devoured by the internet. Every old man family video is being examined by social media detectives who are highlighting Tiffany's odd grins, body language, and forced silence. Moments that appear uninteresting suddenly take on the appearance of clues at a crime scene. One fan even tweeted, "Watch that 2014 BT interview again." Tiffany barely said a word. You can tell she was hiding something. Let's not forget celebrity families live and die by their image. For years, David and Tama painted theirs as unshakable. They sang about love, trust, faith, and family unity. They built a brand worth millions off of it. And now, one daughter with one voice is threatening to topple the entire empire. And this, dear viewers, is only the beginning. Because if Tiffany is telling the truth, and if the leaked materials are real, then David Mann is in deeper trouble than even he realizes. Public image shattered, fan base divided, and the law. Oh, the law might be circling closer than ever. But don't get too comfortable because what Tiffany revealed publicly is just the tip of the iceberg. What comes next will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about the Mann family. So here we are. Silence is broken. The mask has slipped, and the Mann family's shiny gospel crown is starting to crack. But if you thought Tiffany's first words were shocking, wait until you hear the details. She claims her father worked so hard to bury. See, Tiffany isn't just talking in vague terms. Nope. She's serving specifics, the kind that make your skin crawl. According to leaked documents that mysteriously landed in the inboxes of select outlets overnight. Yeah, funny how that happens. Tiffany accuses David Mann of not only manipulating her childhood, but also using his power in ways that can only be described as predatory. One alleged leaked audio has Tiffany's voice trembling as she says, "He made me feel trapped in my own home. We had to pretend everything was fine every time the cameras came out. In private, however, I was terrified of my own father. Now, the effect is the same whether this tape is completely real or just the internet doing what it does best, fake for clicks." The number of fans is soaring. Let's also discuss those fans. Keep in mind that this isn't your typical celebrity. Gospel royalty is what this is. Uncles in churches all around America have posters of David Mann on their walls. In a way, Tama's songs were hymns. Their Christian comedies were suitable for a family audience. But all of a sudden, the same folks who earlier used Bible passages to support them are now disparaging their ideal marriage as if it were a massive fraud. Twitter is a battleground. While the so-called insiders are scuttling out of the woodwork, another user shared a meme of David in handcuffs with the caption, "From gospel to gossip real quick. Savage, but you get the point." Another user wrote, "I grew up watching the Manns. If this is true, then nothing in this world is sacred anymore." Reporters were purportedly told by a former tour manager, who will call John for the sake of anonymity. We all knew something was off. Tiffany was never allowed to travel with the family for long stretches. David dismissed our question, claiming that she needed discipline. Everything makes clear now. Then there is the alleged nanny who says she once heard Tiffany and her father yelling at each other. She claims that Tiffany spent hours locking herself in her room. The house did not resemble the one on television. According to reports, the nanny described it as more akin to a theatrical set. On-camera smiles, backstage mayhem, and the money trail, of course. Because true or fake receipts are always a part of controversies this size. Rumor has it that Tiffany sent emails implying that hush money was paid. Settlements made to silence her when she threatened to come forth years ago. If accurate, that is a complete cover-up rather than only a family matter. However, a Tamela Mann herself is caught in the crossfire as insiders spill tea and the internet speculates. Imagine listening to your daughter call your husband a monster while you sit in court, or at the very least, in the middle of this circus of the media. Now it's Tama who is crying, the woman whose voice could bring whole congregations to tears. According to reports, when Tiffany gave her testimony during one of the sessions, Tama passed out. The courtroom had to be stopped, as witnesses said she cried hysterically and said, "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" The picture of Tama on the floor, distraught, is now trending with the hashtag #AuchPrayForTamela, and medics were brought in. However, not everyone has empathy. Some admirers are posing challenging queries. Was Tama truly unaware? Or did she decide that the brand was more significant than the truth and ignored the warning signs? It's a reasonable concern, to be honest, since how can a mother who shares a home miss the suffering her daughter is supposedly experiencing? David, meantime, is apparently incensed. He denies everything, according to people close to him, likely his public relations team attempting to minimize the harm. He is accused of being a resentful child who is calling Tiffany's words false. But let's face it, denial feels weak when your own kid is smearing your name with this much detail. The empire of men is on the verge of disintegrating. Reservations have been canceled. Silently, sponsors are pulling out. Churches that formerly pleaded with the men to perform are now turning away. Despite everything, Tiffany seemed unconcerned. She's doubling down, if anything. I've carried his secrets long enough. It's time the world sees the truth. No more masks. One post on her purportedly private Instagram said, "And the internet, they're torn. Half are screaming. We stand with Tiffany while the other half are yelling, 'Where's the proof?'" But that's the thing with scandals. Proof doesn't matter at first. The mere accusation is enough to shake the foundation. Now let's take a step back. Think about the ripple effects. If David Mann goes down, it's not just his career. It's Tamela's. It's the entire Mann brand. The albums, the tours, the comedy specials, all tainted. What was once a multi-million-dollar gospel empire could become nothing more than a cautionary tale about power, abuse, and the dangers of a spotless public image. And you know what the most ironic part is? The Manns built their careers singing about salvation, healing, and God's light. But now their story is one of shadows, secrets, and betrayal. You can't write irony like this. It writes itself. But brace yourselves, because if you think Tiffany's revelations are damning, the consequences that follow might be even worse. Court cases, legal probes, financial ruin, this storm is only getting started. And just when you thought this circus couldn't get any wilder, boom, the legal system jumps into the ring. See, Tiffany's testimony wasn't just a family squabble. Nope. Her words triggered an official probe. Suddenly, David Mann isn't just trending on Twitter. He's staring down investigators who are digging through his past like hungry wolves. The DA's office reportedly confirmed they're looking into allegations of abuse, coercion, and potential financial misconduct. Translation, they're not playing. What began as a daughter's cry for help has now snowballed into a full-on criminal case. Lawyers are sharpening their knives. Courtrooms are being booked. And David's once squeaky clean image is hanging by a single frayed thread. And while David is lawyering up, Tama is stuck in the middle, torn apart by loyalty and betrayal. Some insiders claim she's been spotted visiting David in private, whispering prayers and begging him to tell the truth. Others say she's confiding in friends that she feels like a fool, like she's been living a lie for decades. Either way, the image of Tama, the strong gospel queen, is shattered. Fans who once looked up to her now wonder, is she the victim or the silent accomplice? Meanwhile, Tiffany is not backing down. If anything, she's going harder. Her interviews are spreading like wildfire. In one explosive sit-down, she declared, "For years, I begged my mom to listen. I pleaded with my dad to stop for years. I had to save myself since no one paid attention." The clip went viral within hours, racking up millions of views. People cried, people raged, and people chose sides. But let's be real, public opinion is ruthless. While Tiffany's courage earned her waves of support, There's a darker corner of the internet calling her a liar and attention seeker, even accusing her of trying to cash in on her father's downfall. It's a cruel reminder. In scandals like these, the victim is always put on trial too. Sponsors, they're out. Netflix reportedly paused a Planned Man family special. Gospel labels are cutting teas. Even the churches, once their strongest allies, are suddenly silent. Sermons that once opened with Tamela's songs are now pretending the Mann family never existed. Pastors don't want the heat, and the faithful don't want the shame. And David, he's unraveling. Reports say he's lashing out behind closed doors, accusing everyone. Tiffany, the media of betrayal. But here's the kicker. A leaked court document suggests there may be more victims. Yep, Tiffany might not be the only one. That whisper alone is enough to keep this scandal burning for years. So where does that leave Tamela? Picture this. The courtroom, Tiffany on the stand, David stone-faced, and Tamela caught in the middle. Witnesses say Tamela's eyes never left her daughter, that for the first time she seemed to realize the cost of silence. At one point, she reportedly mouthed the words, "I'm sorry." The image is heartbreaking. One woman torn between the man she built her empire with and the daughter she never truly heard. But the court of public opinion doesn't wait for verdicts. To them, David is already guilty. Tama is complicit, and Tiffany is the hero. Memes are everywhere. One viral post reads, "Tama sang about taking us to the king." Her own home, however, was a private realm. Yes, harsh, maybe accurate, but that's what the internet is for. Cruel and merciless. This is the part that no one anticipated. In fact, the government may intervene. Federal investigations into tax problems, hash payments, and financial misconduct are the subject of circulating rumors. Because money trails are the biggest source of motivation for authorities in America, it will be a federal case in addition to a scandal if investigators find that David funneled money to hush his daughter. And consider the consequences. There is no longer a Mann brand. Family tours are over, comedy specials are over, no more heartbreaking gospel duets. A legacy of betrayal and shattered trust is all that remains. The fall of the human empire was not caused by external adversaries. It imploded from within, brought down by the very family it was built to celebrate. But here's the haunting question. What happens after the dust settles? Can Tama rebuild her career as a solo act free from David's shadow? Or is she forever tied to his disgrace? Will Tiffany find peace? Or will she be haunted by trolls accusing her of destroying her own family? And David, well, his fate seems sealed. Whether in court or in the eyes of the public, redemption looks impossible. What's clear is this. The Mann family will never be the same. The gospel giants who once preached unity and light are now a cautionary tale of darkness and silence. It's Shakespearean, really a family undone by secrets, ambition, and betrayal. And as the cameras flash, the lawyers shout, and the public gasps. One thing is certain. No matter what verdict the court delivers, the Mann's trial in the court of public opinion has already ended. And the judgment guilty. So here we are. From gospel glory to scandal hellfire. From sold-out tours to courtroom collapses. From family laughter to family destruction. The Mann name once holy now lies in ashes. And the saddest part? All of it could have been prevented if someone had just listened to Tiffany sooner.